What's up? What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel, Sports, Life and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective, and I'm here for the news. And here recently, my channel has been getting dinged by YouTube. That's why I've been making videos. It's because of the videos I've made on Israel versus Hamas versus Hezbollah, and they're not actually dinging those videos. They're going back a whole year prior. So will I be covering some Israel and Hamas footage today in this video? Absolutely. I don't really care, but I mean, it is what it is. But we're going to start off the video covering this Josh Giddey situation. He's a young white male. I think he's from Australia. He plays in the NBA for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And it's alleged that he's had an inappropriate relationship with an underage girl. Now, the reason why I have all these clips up here is because there are a lot of people, especially Negro males in the black community, who are up in arms because this lady you see on the screen, Malika Andrews, and this man you see on the screen, Stephen A. Smith, they say they have not been covering it the same way that they covered other people who had alleged cases in the media, whether it be Emi Udoka or the Houston Rockets player's name skips my mind right now, but he was blamed for something. But just, player after player. Brandon Miller here recently, he was drafted to the NBA. He was a rookie, and during the draft, Malika Andrews said something. And everybody's up in arms and mad at these two. And they want these two people to cover it with the same vitriol and the same energy that they cover the black players with. Well, how do I feel about that? I think Negroes and lost their goddamn mind. There's no way them people are going to cover that like that. What you're looking at, and these two people are company people. That's a company man and a company woman. If you want them to cover it with the same energy and veracity and with the same scope, what you have to do, start your own corporation when they become free agents, hire them, write the scripts, and have them read the teleprompter exactly how you want them to read it. Because that's what they do for ESPN. They have pre-production meetings every single day. They go over the topics and exactly what they're going to say on the show. So these people are puppets for ESPN. They can't say whatever they want. Why would you be mad at the puppet and not the puppet master? Why is Negro so eager to pick leaves and break branches instead of digging up the root of the problem? If you really want to help out black men who being disenfranchised and mistreated, all you have to do is go down to your local courthouse, because that's where all the bullshit is happening at. That's where the real racism is happening at. Fighting this type of shit is a waste of time. This is just content to create. Who cares? They'll never do that. Why would white men at ESPN cover themselves in a dark light and then cover us in a bright light? Or cover themselves equal to us? They'll never do that. We're not in power right now. The Negro has to realize that. We should be focused on getting in power. Well, let's take a look at this clip.
More breaking news, this time concerning a Thunder basketball player. Multiple outlets now reporting that the NBA is launching an investigation into Thunder guard Josh Giddey.
Now, there has been focus of a lot of social media attention on this over the past 20 hours. Hosts saying he engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a minor.
Giddey was asked.
And how old was the minor? Because some states, the legal age is 16. I think he's from Australia, and if I'm not mistaken, the legal age is 16. But obviously he's not in Australia, he's in America, but it depends on which state he's in too. Because the Oklahoma City Thunder said they're going to let him play. So I don't think they're taking this as too big of a deal. And once again, if this was a black player, would he be treated differently? 100%. Just like we're treated differently in the courtroom. Negro is looking for equality when you have to build your own equality within yourself and within your people. You'll never get equality from these people. That's out. And let's be honest, equality doesn't even exist. If we got in power, we're not treating them people equally. That's out. So, it just boggles my mind.
About those accusations today during the media availability at practice today, saying he understood the question, but he didn't have a comment. We spoke to the Thunder PR team, and they told us, as of right now, Giddey will be playing in tomorrow's game against the 76ers.
And as you can see, across the board, F Josh Giddey. They talking about R. Kelly and all this. Hey, man, they not supposed to treat this man like R. Kelly. They're not going to treat him like Ime Udoka. They're not going to treat him like Brandon Miller. He's going to get a pass. He has the complexion for the connection. And why would you be and mad at Malika Andrews and Stephen A. Smith is a waste of time. I think he's not even a real Negro. I think he's from like the islands. And she's biracial. I think she was raised in Utah. If you're biracial, a lot of times you go on one side or the other. Just because you might have a certain skin tone, how you was raised matters. You can be biracial and your black father or black mother was feeding you, a lot of stuff to make you feel like you're a Negro and you grew up, you're a Negro, basically. Or you can have the alternative where you get fed a lot of stuff, a lot of information, a lot of disinformation about black people, and you feel like you're more white than black. But no matter what you say, this lady is a puppet. You never waste your time getting mad at a puppet when there's strings connected to them, and all you got to do is look up and you'll find a puppet master. But it is what it is. We'll see where this case goes with Josh Giddey. Do I think he'll receive a slap on the wrist? Probably. If the girl was 16 and the law says in that state is 16, this should have just fade into the night. And these people will never cover it the same way you want them to cover it when it comes to Negro males. That's just not going to happen. But let's take a look at this next clip. 3 Palestinian students shot, hospitalized, suspected of a hate crime. Now, they did find the gentleman who did it. Now, I won't say alleged. They found a suspect who did it. It was a white male. Let me see if I can find him. Where is he at? I don't know what I did with the clip, but they had a clip of him, and they actually showed him, and he is under arrest, and we'll see where it goes from there. But let's take a look at this.
President Biden has been briefed on the suspected hate-motivated shooting of 3 Palestinian students in Burlington, Vermont. The 20-year-old students are all graduates of a West Bank school and studying at American universities. 2 are U.S. citizens, and the third is a legal resident. Here's ABC's Randy Wall.
And let me say this. I told you before, a lot of this stuff is going to ratchet up when it comes to hate crimes and all these type of things against Palestinians. And you never know if this is, agents trying to create the chaos, trying to make this thing ratchet up to where, it's fueling more crime and more hate and more vitriol between the Jewish and Palestinian groups. As a Negro, we basically sitting on the sideline of this. We're kind of just sitting back and watching. But watching it is interesting to see how it all plays out because it's a lot of sympathetic moments where each side are trying to be the most sympathetic figure. That's what I'm trying to say. Each sides are picking who's trying to be the most sympathetic figure. Now, where you stand on that is where you stand. But obviously, we know Israel has the supreme firepower. We know that Israel after World War II took Palestine from those Palestinian people. So we'll see where it all plays out.
Tonight, police on the hunt for the gunman who they say shot 3 Palestinian college students in Burlington, Vermont. Authorities say 2 of the victims were wearing traditional Arab scarves called keffiyehs while bowling Saturday night over Thanksgiving break. As they returned to one of their relatives' homes, police say the shooter approached them with a pistol in hand. Officials say the suspect, described as a white man with a beard, fired at least 4 rounds without a word, striking all.
And I do have a question. Oh, this is the white man right here. I'm glad there he is. They did find him. He looks like he's clearly done tried some meth, a little fentanyl, indulged in maybe some crack cocaine at one time or another. He is under arrest at this particular point. But my question is, has he been in a mental institution lately? And if he was, who was his doctor and what medication was he taking? We'll never get to know those type of things. Well, they'll tell you if he's in a mental institute, but they'll never tell you who the doctor was, what he was diagnosed with, or if he was diagnosed, what medication, if it was medication, how long was he? It's like always bits and pieces that's left out of it to where it just moves on to the next case. Like they've perfected this craft right here at this point.
Them before running off.
All units be advised the shooter is unaccounted for.
Police say 2 are stable at the hospital. The third has more serious injuries. Burlington's police chief saying in a statement, in this charged moment, no one can look at this incident and not suspect that it may have been a hate-motivated crime, but still urging the public not to make any conclusions, adding there is no additional information to suggest the suspect's motive. The victims, identified by their families as Tassin Ali Ahmed of Trinity College, Kinan Abdel Hamid, a student at Haverford College, and Hisham Awartani, a junior at Brown University. Their families saying in a joint statement, we call on law enforcement to conduct a thorough investigation, including treating this as a hate crime. And the FBI tells us the agency is aware of the incident and has previously warned of lone wolf attackers that may be inspired by the Israel-Hamas war. Lindsay?
Really, for us. Thanks so much.
I mean, they say lone wolf attackers. Obviously, they had the one man that they've captured so far, but to me, it always goes a little bit deeper. It could be a lone wolf situation. That does happen occasionally, but in today's society, a lot of these things are orchestrated. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Allegedly, allegedly. Let's take a look at this. Yemen's Houthi rebels seize cargo ship in the Red Sea. Now, I covered this, I think like 2 videos ago about the Houthis in Yemen, and they showed them doing military exercises and military drills, and it looked like them people had eaten in a week. They were bone thin. All of the luggage they was carrying, including the guns, there's no doubt about it, weighed more than they did. They had one of the most pathetic looking militaries I've ever seen, but all of a sudden they said they get a hair up their ass, and now they're firing United States battleships, and they're taking over cargo ships with this bullshit military. Now, if you believe that, hey, they said even before they took over this, I remember watching the clip that they was going to be attacking people. They actually said it before they did it. When I covered the last video, that was in the clip. It said they were going to be, if any cargo ship or something was coming past, they would, that was coming past, they would attack. So you took no precautions at all. So you just floated on past and waited for them. Wait till you see this helicopter. Let's take a look at the clip.
An attack in the Red Sea, not far from Israel, raises new fears that the war in Gaza could spread across the Middle East. Pro-Palestinian rebels from Yemen took over a cargo ship on Sunday.
Hey, they had newer helicopters in the Vietnam War. That shit looked like it's from the 40s. Are you kidding me? Look at this old. Look, do I believe you could throw a rock at a helicopter and hurt it? In general, I don't. But one good rock, about 5 or 6 pounds, would have hit that helicopter. There's no doubt that bitch would have went right in the ocean. So you couldn't throw nothing. You could have threw a rope up there at the propeller and it caught up in that. You could have did anything. If you would have sprayed some water on that helicopter, it was finished.
And reported themselves doing it. As MTS Tide reports, it's showing the frightening capability of the Iran-backed fighters.
Frightening capability. These people are ridiculous. This is some of the sorriest capability I ever seen in my life. Man, I've seen better tires on a bald Yugo. Look at the tires on that. Look at the tires on that helicopter. I've seen better tires on a big wheel. Unbelievable.
In a slick, propaganda-style video, a Houthi-manned helicopter emblazoned with against Palestinian flags landed on the shipping vessel in the Red Sea. And in what Israel is calling an act of Iranian terrorism, the heavily armed Yemen-based fighters filmed themselves.
Let me tell you this. Do you know how hard it is to get into that door? That door, you see how thick? Look, I want you to look to the left at that angle. That door is so thick. It is so reinforced, it's ridiculous. The door is just wide open. They just opened up the door. Come on now, y'all.
Storming what they called an Israeli cargo ship, taking the crew members hostage. Israel denies any connection to the British-owned Galaxy Leader, which is operated by a Japanese company. Earlier this month, the Houthis, who have long been supported by and received financing from Iran, had warned of plans to target Israeli vessels in retaliation for Israel's war on gun.
Do you know how fast Israel, United States could have sent fighter jets, helicopters, drones, all type of shit over there. So as soon as them people say, hey man, we got a helicopter landing, it looked like this from Yemen, they got a Yemen flag on it. But man, you know how quick that shit gets in the air. Man, you could have dropped in, you could have followed that shit. They could have dropped some Navy SEALs down, man. They could have dropped down some Army Rangers. They could have did all type of shit. Yet they let them just take the shit. This is why I say you just can't believe everything on TV. Allegedly, this type of shit is staged events. I'm not saying they wasn't really on the ship and do it, but a lot of this shit is allowed to happen. Come on, man.
And for weeks now, the Yemeni rebels have been using drones and launching long-range missiles at Israel in solidarity with Hamas, most of which have been intercepted by U.S. warships in the region.
Did you hear what he said? He said they've been launching missiles and drones in solidarity with Hamas and Hezbollah. Now, the thing is that you saying you intercepted almost all of them. I believe that 100%. You know why you didn't intercept all of them? Because about 40% of them was duds and never even made None of these landed. None of these hit the target. None. So it boggles my mind.
Houthis are a fierce fighting force. For nearly a decade, they've been locked in a brutal civil war with Yemen's government, triggering one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. The Yemeni government is supported by a Saudi-led military coalition that successive U.S. administrations have backed through arms sales.
So the United States is over there funding a civil war along with Israel and Saudi Arabia. I said that before in another video that Saudi Arabia had been waging war in Yemen, and now they just said the United States is also helping back one side over there in the civil war in Yemen. So you know, and all this shit is come on, man. All this stuff they're getting from the West, allegedly. Wow.
And a U.S. military official has said the seizure of the vessel is a, quote, flagrant violation of international law. But the Houthis are warning that the hijacking was only the beginning of what it's calling a battle at sea. It appears if more vessels are taken and more missiles are launched at Israel, could pull other countries this already devastating war.
Yes, that's very true. Could pull people, but you know, Israel's in a tough situation. If Hezbollah joins the war, they finished pretty much. I mean, you can't really have that. They do have the Iron Dome system in Israel, but they have like 250 missiles and rockets and shit, and you just don't have enough anti-aircraft and anti-missile missiles to knock their missiles out of the sky. Their missiles might cost anywhere from 25,000, 50,000 to 100,000. Your shit costing in the millions for each one. So mathematically, you're not going to be able to hold that up. And let me say this about the Israeli military. They have all the technology, they have everything back from the U.S. But one thing they don't have the United States have is the gumption to fight real wars. Like they don't have the same bravery we have. We have war after war after war in America. From World War I, II, Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf, to Afghan and Iraq. We've been fighting wars for so long that we have people who are battle hardened when it comes to that type of shit. What they're doing is fighting a group that they have in a concentration camp. So if other countries join the war for real, they can't fight that shit. They don't have the type of troops and military history that United States have to fight them. They can't do that. So they're going to have to, they're going to have to eventually agree to a ceasefire. There's no doubt about that shit. That's why you see a small ceasefire now coming. But eventually there's going to be an all-out ceasefire. But they're trying to, dismantle Hamas as much as they can. But don't be surprised if this thing doesn't escalate. Like I said before, escalation, United States, Israel, they want to get what they're trying to get done accomplished and then cut it off and then, restock and reload and then hit their ass again. It just basically keep them in the same. Because if anybody else joins this, it's over. Yeah, it's over, it's over, it's over. Let's take a look at this clip.
A member of the Norfolk-based USS Dwight D. Eisenhower carrier strike group comes under fire. We're talking about the guided missile destroyer here, USS Mason.
Yeah, fortunately, the ship and crew unharmed. Still, it's a sobering reminder of the danger our military members face every day. Mike Giddey has the latest.
According to U.S. Central Command, the USS Mason on Sunday responded to a distress call from a commercial ship that reported that it was under attack from an unknown entity. CENTCOM said the Mason pursued the attackers, resulting in their eventual surrender. But later, 2 ballistic missiles were fired from Houthi-controlled areas in Yemen toward the general location of the Mason and the commercial ship MV Central Park. CENTCOM said there was no damage or reported injuries from either vessel during this incident.
We're obviously still sorting through the operational detail.
And yeah, they're sending missiles up, but they're not serious. I don't believe that people have the gumption to fire at the United States military on the water. We have too much firepower. Why do you think they said they fired at the United States didn't fire back? Because in any other situation, it's protocol. If somebody fires at you, you fire at them, eye for an eye. Usually, United States uses overwhelming force, but they're not. Why? Because they're backing part of the civil war in Yemen. And I would say, usually, we know from the Contras, United States is known for backing both sides on the Civil War. So you gotta be careful with that.
We're obviously glad that the ship wasn't damaged and no crew were hurt and the missiles fell far short. But again, we're looking into the details.
I'll tell you, fell far short. Yeah, your missiles barely working.
Eric Carilla said, "Maritime domain security is essential to regional stability. We will continue to work with allies and partners to ensure the safety and security of international shipping lanes." The Mason is part of the Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group. The Ike and the guided missile cruiser USS Philippine Sea and the guided missile destroyer USS Bravely deployed from Naval Station Norfolk on October 14th. The Mason deployed from Naval Station Mayport, Florida on October 13th. Mike Giddey, 13 News Now.
Yeah, not a snowball's chance in hell you hit any of that or get anything done. It's just impossible. Yeah, I don't trust none of that. And they never said United States and fire back and blow up where the missiles came from. At the bare minimum, you blow up the missile site, don't you? Because obviously we know exactly where they fired from. There's no doubt about that. That's 100%. And they didn't fire back. So yeah, Negro antennas, Negro spidey senses should automatically go off. Your antenna should go up immediately when you hear something that foolish. Let's look at this. Yeah, YSL. No, let's take Derek Chauvin, I'm sorry. The one who choked George Floyd to death with his knee. They say he's in stable condition following a prison stabbing. Do I believe he was stabbed in prison? I don't know. I'm 50-50 on that shit. This could be one of those things where they use that to move him. Maybe he was in danger or they seen something they didn't and they staged the thing so he can be moved. I want to see the stab wound. I want to see the blood. Give me the because it's got to be on video. There's cameras everywhere in these jailhouses, these prisons. Show me the video where he got stabbed at.
New details tonight on the prison stabbing of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. Officials say Chauvin, who murdered George Floyd back in 2020, sparking protests worldwide, is now in stable condition. He was rushed to a hospital late Friday. NBC's Jacqueline Ling has the latest.
Tonight, Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer convicted of murdering George Floyd by kneeling on his neck, now in stable condition. Sources telling ABC News he is expected to survive after being stabbed by a fellow inmate at this Arizona prison. Chauvin sustaining serious injuries in the Friday attack. The Bureau of Prisons saying its employees initiated life-saving measures before EMS personnel arrived. Chauvin then rushed to the hospital. Authorities in Minnesota, where Chauvin was an officer, condemning the attack.
People who are in the custody of the state, in jail and in prisons, have the right to be safe.
That's the most disingenuous thing I've ever heard in my fucking life. Now, should prisoners be safe in jail? Yes. Have prisoners ever been safe in jail? Hell to the no. Every single day, hundreds, maybe thousands of prisoners are stabbed every day. Every day. And he ain't never came out and said prisoners should be safe. That's why I say I'm a little suspect. He might have got scratched. And they yelling out, it's a vicious stab wound. Just so they can move him. And this might help him in an appeals case to get out even earlier and sooner. We don't know. But that's extremely disingenuous for me to say that every prisoner has a right to be safe. Niggas is in there getting their asses raped, beat on, strung up, blackmailed. Everything that can happen to your ass is happening to them people in prison.
So Attorney General Keith Ellison also saying in a statement, "I'm sad to hear that Derek Chauvin was the target of violence."
He's sad to hear. What about all the other prisoners up there that's getting stabbed and beat on and raped? Why they never came out and said they were sad to hear that? These motherfuckers got a lot of nerve. A lot of nerve. Let's go back here him again. Hear these two clowns again.
Jail and prisons have a right to be safe.
Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison also saying in a statement, "I'm sad to hear that Derek Chauvin was the target of violence. Like any incarcerated individual, he should be able to serve his sentence without fear of retaliation or violence."
Hey, you rape a small child, there's going to be retaliation and vengeance in jail. You kill the wrong gang member, it's going to be retaliation. You kill cops, you go to jail, it's going to be retaliations by the guard. No matter what you do, when you get to that jail, somebody's going to hop on your ass. Somebody's going to be whooping on you or fucking on you. Either or, something's going to be happening to you in there. So everybody goes to jail, has to fight. Most people has to avoid being stabbed or hurt. You're not protected in jail, just flat out. You're just not.
Chauvin currently serving a 21-year federal sentence for violating George Floyd's civil rights and a 22-year state sentence for second-degree murder. In a documentary released earlier this month called The Fall of Minneapolis, Chauvin speaking out about his conviction, calling his trial and sentencing a sham, and claiming that putting his knee on Floyd's neck was part of his police training manual.
I'm looking at it right now. 5-316, XLR sleep technique, right in the written policy manual.
He said that's part of his training. And I'm pretty sure it is part of his training. But brother, there's no way you thought part of the training was put all your pressure on somebody's neck for 10 straight minutes. Ain't no way you thought that. Because eventually, you got to arrest him and put him in the car. You can't just restrain a person forever. Obviously, if you're on his neck for a minute and a half, that's understandable. You're trying to get the cuffs on him. Maybe he's wiggling, such and such, where he might be slightly. But once you get the cuff on him, you get him up, you put him in the car. You leaned on that man's neck until he was dead, until you didn't feel nothing, until you didn't feel him wiggling no more. That's what you did.
The attack on Chauvin is just the latest in a series of incidents involving high-profile inmates, including the stabbing of former U.S. gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar earlier this summer, as well as the 2019 suicide of Jeffrey Epstein.
You see what I mean? Larry Nassar from Michigan State, the guy who was a huge pedophile, had all them cases where he had did all that shit to young people, and he got stabbed in jail. You ain't safe in jail. You're not safe in jail. So this whole thing was saying everybody has a right to be safe. It's just completely disingenuous, and it's just bullshit.
Raising questions about inmate safety within the Bureau of Prisons. Jacqueline, thank you.
There's a lot of motherfuckers with so asses asking where y'all been all this time. God damn. Let's take a look at this. They say, I'm going to look at this clip first. Rapper Young Thug lyric expected to be used in trial. Do I feel like you should be able to use a rapper's lyrics in trial? If you dumb enough to rap exactly what you did, you damn skippy you should be able to use that. I mean, how stupid can you be? I mean, if you're going to tell people exactly what you did, how you did it, what street you was on, what kind of gun you used, what color the car you was in, what time it was, you had your birth certificate your birth certificate and social security number on your chest in a camera where they can see. Hell yeah, and you rapped it all and made it sound good. You should go to jail for being an idiot. And I don't know why all these young niggas think that you can do all this shit and jail ain't part of it. Jail is part of the criminal life. Like if you're going to commit crimes, be in a gang, shoot, rob, kill, going to jail is part of that. Like there's no way around that. Everything you do comes back to you. You have to pay the price. All my family members who committed crimes and did all this, they all went to jail. All of a sudden, all these rappers, they don't want none of the rappers to go to jail. But nobody was saying free my cousins or free my uncles or free any of them people. But you want to free these niggas. Hey man, you do the crime, you're gonna do the time. If you want to do, if you want to see a bunch of racism, all you got to do is head down to your local courthouse. And if you don't want to deal with that shit, then you have to carry yourself in a better way. That's why I always tell Negroes, you can't worry about if it's racist or not. You got to do everything in your power to stay out of there. Take a look at the clip.
Now, lyrics are expected to be used as evidence in the trial against the rapper Young Thug. Opening statements are expected tomorrow as he faces gang-related racketeering charges. ABC's Alex Pochet is in Atlanta where that trial is happening. Good morning, Alex.
Hey, Gio, it took nearly a year to seat this jury, but we are squared away and set to go. The future of one of rap's biggest stars at stake.
This week, opening statements in the trial determining the fate of one of hip-hop's biggest stars get underway. Grammy Award-winning rapper Young Thug, whose legal name is Jeffrey Lamar Williams, charged as part of a Georgia RICO case, indicted last year along with more than 24 others. 5 of them standing trial with the rapper.
It's a RICO case, meaning that the prosecution is using every and any action they can of the 6 defendants who are going to trial to show that they moved in furtherance of that gang activity.
Williams is accused of co-founding the alleged violent criminal street gang YSL, using his music to promote their exploits. Rapper's attorneys argue YSL is simply a record label. Williams has pleaded not guilty. Young Thug's lyrics became a crucial part of this case, the judge allowing prosecutors to introduce more than a dozen sets of the rapper's lyrics, so long as the words are related to crimes he and others allegedly committed. Songs like anybody.
It's lyrics like this and songs like this that are going to be used against Young Thug during this trial.
And let me say this about Young Thug. From everything I've known, everybody who was out of Atlanta, including Young Thug himself, said he was a real stepper. He said he was really with all that shit. He was really catching bodies out there. This is his word. This is the shit he was saying. So I'm not saying you're supposed to go in there and say I'm guilty, but I'm saying you can't be shocked. You can't be like, I want him to be free. Man, why y'all didn't want the regular nigga to be free? There's a lot of niggas who did the same shit he was doing. Why is these rappers, why are they so special? They're not special. They just regular people. They pedestalize people. If you do crimes, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna do time. 99% of the time. Are you gonna listen to me? Are you gonna be dead? That's what I've always told coming up. You wanna do drugs and gang bang and sell dope. The only thing coming with that is death in jail. That's the only thing. So it ain't no free. If he can get out, he can get out. If he can beat the case, he get good lawyers. He can. That's cool. But if he goes to jail and actually gets time, it ain't no free. Niggas, do your time, sit on your hands, and then get out and be a better man. But the shit he's facing a long time. But, it looked like he got a good case to fight. Looked like he got some shit to fight with because the prosecution always got some holes in their case. There's no doubt about that. But he just don't need the wrong people to flip on him at the wrong time.
In the music industry, arguing the lyrics should be protected by free speech.
A Young Thug conviction could have a chilling effect on the rap industry. It could mean that for rappers, when they go into that recording booth, they've got to treat it more like an interrogation room, in that anything they rap about could be used against them.
Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis firing back. I think if you decide to admit your crimes over a beat, I'm going to use it. Now, defense attorneys in this case have argued that this is a tactic specifically used against rap artists. Johnny Cash, they say, never faced any prosecution for any of his lyrics, while Marley certainly didn't.
Did they say Johnny Cash a white man? Once again, why are they so worried? You're not going to be treated like that. Why do niggas think they're going to get to the courthouse and all of a sudden this is when equality rains down on them? Like SWV. It's not going to rain down on you. The only thing going to rain down on your ass is a long-ass sentence and a bunch of jail time and somebody trying to take your ramen noodles and take your ass. That's it. That's the only thing gonna rain down on you. Talk about goddamn Johnny Cash and Bob Marley. And I'm pretty sure Johnny Cash didn't go word for word what he did. But if he did, he's a white man. So you can expect when he gets to the court, he might get a little bit better treatment. Hear that one more time.
Argued that this is a tactic specifically used against rap artist Johnny Cash, they say, never faced any prosecution for any of his lyrics, while Marley certainly didn't support his famous line, "I shot the sheriff." But
Did that motherfucker just say Bob Marley? I shot the shit. Did Bob Marley actually take a gun and shoot a sheriff? Because if Bob Marley took a gun and shoot a sheriff, they would have most definitely used that shit against him. I gotta Google that. That man literally just said Bob Marley shot the sheriff. How many sheriffs did Bob Marley shoot? Because the correlation has to be there of you being alleged of shooting the sheriff and making a song about shooting the sheriff. Like Young Thug, he was alleged of harming people, and he also was alleged, and he also made the song about harming people. That sounds ridiculous. I shot the sheriff.
now these arguments will go before a jury.
Hey,
But I didn't shoot the deputy. Unbelievable. And it's day one of the YSL Rico trial day. So they got a little small recap, 1 minute. It'll be the last video of the day. Let's take a look at the clip.
Happening tomorrow, the YSL Rico trial is going to pick up were heard against the rapper Young Thug and his wife today. So, opening arguments from the Florida County prosecutor were delayed for several hours. The state is accusing it of running a violent street gang. Young Thug's attorney is arguing that YSL is actually a record label.
Okay, where do I stand on that? Do I think YSL is a record label? 100%. That's a record label. There's no doubt about that. Is YSL also a violent street gang? 100%. Two things can be true. There's no doubt they was out there in Atlanta stepping on shit, robbing, killing, stealing, setting shit up, and rapping about it. And they was rapping about it. So, I mean, it is what it is. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't serve two masters. You got to pay on the back end. If you want to act the fool on the front end, just know you got to get your ass spanked on the back end. That's common sense. I talk to people about this all the time. When you with somebody, right, and you cheating on them, it can be man or woman. But let's just say a man, he gets his girlfriend, he's cheating on her, right? And his sister tells on him that he's cheating. Should he be mad at his sister for telling on him? Most niggas would. But me, I don't think so, because I always know when you do wrong, it's gonna catch up with you. It don't matter if your gang member partner told on you. None of that shit matters. The only thing matters is that you were doing wrong and you were eventually gonna get caught no matter what. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Everybody's not Keno. Like when you out here, if you're a woman and you cheating on your man and he loves you, he's gonna find out. It don't matter if her uncle told on you, or your sister told him, or it don't matter if your friend told him that you had sleeping with another dude. None of that shit matters. The only thing matters is that when you do wrong, you have to pay on the back end. Expect to get your ass spanked on the back end. You're gonna have a baboon bottom. You're gonna get your ass spanked pink. That's the way life goes because there is a God. So you have to pay.
Prosecutors broke down evidence claiming Young Thug's role in the organization.
The evidence will show that YSL checks all of the boxes for being a criminal street gang. As I stated earlier, they are 3 or more people associated in fact. Their members commit crimes on behalf of the gang. They commit crimes such as armed robbery, hijacking, motor vehicle theft.
Tomorrow, we're going to be right back there in the courtroom for day 2. You can watch the full opening statements on the 11 Alive's YouTube channel.
And like I said before, do I think Young Thug should go to jail? Doesn't matter what I think. I think if you do the crime, eventually you got to do the time. I think if he was really out here stepping on shit, really out here, calling shot calling, having people hit. Hey, if they can prove that shit in court, it is what it is. Go sit your ass down. Like all the rest of the niggas who was doing that type of shit are involved with pure chicanery and tomfoolery and bullshit. And out here hitting shit, knocking shit down. All of them had to go sit down, bro. Or they in the graveyard. So it is what it is. But, I might go back. Well, I most definitely go back over that case again here later on. Let a few days go on the trial and see if, some more damning evidence comes up or some stuff that might, clear his name. We don't know. But was Young Thug out here thugging? That's what he said. That's what everybody else said. But you never know. But if you wasn't, boy, you done painted yourself into a hell of a corner. But, all of Atlanta say he was a real stepper. A real stepper. So, but this has been Sports Life Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective. I'm here for the news. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I just took your ass. If you cheat on your girl and whoever tells is going to tell right.